Welcome back to another Planet Zoo video where today we are going to be creating a modern style reptile house. It's going to be a dome-like building with two separate viewing areas, and it's going to be housing the saltwater crocodile. That's right, my name is Adamup and welcome back to another Planet Zoo video. And the way I started this build in this video is creating the dome style glass structure. And I'm not going to lie, I did actually struggle with it. You can see me just trying to move everything into place and trying out two different lengths of domes. I did it on the grid using the mud column, and as you can see that makes it very much easier when I've got one column, because I can just duplicate it over and line everything up and everything fits perfect on the grid. All you have to do then is delete all the on the grid pieces, and just like that I have got my dome. Just need to fiddle around and get some few things right before that takes place though. Once I have that in place and I've got the main structure of the dome how I want it to look like this, you can see all the beams are in place and stuff. Like I just said, it's very easy to go in that group, hover over it, get a box around it, and then just duplicate it over just like this. And if I narrow the grid down to 1 meter, it will all just slot in place, creating a dome-like structure. And I'm really happy with how it looks as well. As the dome was in place, I built this. So I actually forgot to press record. I'm not going to lie to you, I did forget to press record, but this is going to be the front and the two viewing areas. So the theory behind this is that the guests can come into the bottom part and get a view of our reptile, and they can also come to the top part for a more clearer view. The pathing system is going to be a pain in the ass to do, so stick around to see how I manage that. I also created these panels as well with like glass panels, and these will connect also to the barrier to stop our guests falling over the edge of this viewing platform, because we definitely don't want that, do we? And even though it's not practical and it's not functional, let's give it the impression that it is. Try to make stuff as realistic as possible. I'm saying that this is probably a really modern futuristic build what you'll probably never see, but I actually saw a picture of like a glass dome with habitats with reptiles, and I thought, right, I want to try to replicate that maybe on a smaller scale, and I want different viewing areas. I don't just want one viewing area for this habitat. I want an entranceway so it's like a reptile house, which you will see me build very soon, and then I want two separate viewing areas, one up and one down. And like I've previously said, that's going to make the pathing system very much difficult, but we do end up doing it, and we do get a guest in and we get our animals in and everyone seems happy. By the way, if you are new to my Planet Zoo videos, or you started following me because I've recently created some Planet Coaster videos, I will be creating all kinds of Planet Zoo content as well as Planet Coaster 2 content. So if you're into speed build videos like you're watching now and watching me create stuff and gaining inspiration for it on Planet Coaster 2 and obviously Planet Zoo, or you're more into tutorials and you want to learn how to create stuff in Planet Coaster 2 or Planet Zoo, then this hopefully is the channel for you. So hit that subscribe button if you are a new viewer, and new or old, I would much appreciate it if you just hit that like button. It helps creators like me more than you could even believe, and it takes 2 seconds to do. So please just scroll down a little bit, hit that like button. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, and I really do appreciate everything. And by the way, if you want to talk to someone about, well, anything really, but more like Planet Zoo or Planet Coaster 2 content, if you want advice, you want help, or you want to talk to like-minded individuals who play these games, also I have got a Discord channel. The link is in the description. In fact, all my links are in the description, including my Steam Workshop page where you can find this build what I am creating now. I will be uploading it to the Steam Workshop page. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I might have to upload it as a zoo file. We'll see. You'll see it on there anyway. By the time this video releases, the Steam Workshop link will be in the description and it'll be uploaded as a blueprint somehow. Just creating the fence now, and I'm using the mesh, and again I'm using these conservation pieces painted to black so it looks like a black modern metal, and it just works really well. I've noticed the conservation pieces and the Indonesian pieces, if you recolor them to black, because they're both obviously recolorable, it does look like modern kind of either black wood or modern metal, and that's the kind of vibe I want to go through with these modern builds that I create. Once that was in place and that area was done, it was time to move to the front, and this is the creation what I started with. I kind of just boxed off areas where I wanted and kind of got the main design down, where I want the doorways, where I want bits coming out. Again, we're going to keep with that modern theme. We're using the plaster pieces, we've recolored them to a more whiter colour to give that modern theme. It really goes well with the wooden pieces we're going to use and with the black metal pieces we're using also. It just all combines it very well with colour scheme. I'm also going to separate the colour scheme with a plaster white and a plaster like dark grey as well, just because it started to look all a bit the same and blend in a little bit too much. I thought it just doesn't look right, and if something's not right, I always say go back, change it, or you just won't be happy with it. You can see me just putting that roof on now, and if you are wondering how I do roofs like this, I have got a full roofing tutorial, but I'll give you a quick description. I basically add it to the grid with the grid plaster pieces, the flat plaster pieces, the roofs obviously, well then I put an off the grid plaster piece on the top. Now this creates two different layers. All I have to do is, as you can see me doing in the video here, deleting all the on the grid pieces, and then I can move around and mess about and have a thinner roof with all the off the grid pieces. I hope that made sense. It just makes life a hell of a lot easier when placing roofs, and if you want a thinner roof, it's the best way to do it. And I do the same with this little alcove part here. I want to try to create some kind of discussion in my comments section. I've not been getting that many comments on my videos. The views are okay and the likes are good, but not a lot of people seem to comment, and one of the reasons I make these videos is not just to inspire people and teach people how to do stuff, but to try to create a sense of community and hopefully people talk to each other. That's why I created the Discord. But in the comment section, I want you to give your opinion on whether we are going to get a last DLC for Planet Zoo, and if we are, I think we are, because it has been announced that we are. I don't know if Planet Zoo will come back on that though, you never know. What do you think it'll be? What kind of DLC do you think it'll be? Because it's more than likely this will be the very last DLC for Planet Zoo, and then the main concentration from Frontier will be on Planet Coaster 2. So let me know in the comment section below what you would like to see as the last DLC, or what you think it is going to be. I think a lot of people kind of sway on either like marine life, like subaquatic, aquatic, or birds. We know they've got the possibility of making flying birds, but I don't think it'll ever come to Planet Zoo. I really don't. I wish it would. A lot of people probably do wish it would. Yeah, I would love flying species. Just finishing off this side panel now, and I've kind of took the roof over the edge, and it's a design that I've done before when creating modern stuff, and I don't know if it has any architectural actual name to it. I have seen buildings in real life, that's where I've gained the inspiration from, but it kind of just overhangs like that, and the roof becomes the side panel / wall, and yeah, it just looks really good. See, I'm just putting a skylight in this main part now. Obviously we're going to go with a modern build, so I want to add a little bit of glass as well. If not a little bit, then a lot, because every modern build you see has a lot of glass in it, especially in real life. Once that bit was done, I kind of transformed it into this. You can see it, I've put the doorway in, I've put a glass panel on the right hand side of the doorway, and the flooring is now going in, and I've put the overgrown like natural foliage roof on the left hand side. And honestly, as I was building this, I was thinking, does it look right? Does it? I know I wanted the planters around the outside of the front. I always said that foliage and rockwork in Planet Zoo is king, and I will always stick to that, but I didn't want to overdo it because it's quite simplistic, this build, and a modern theme. I didn't want to overdo it. See me just adding the planter in now all around, and I actually do change this as well, and I'm not afraid to say that I make mistakes and I think that doesn't look right, but I always go back and I always correct my mistakes that I think that I've made. I then moved on to the glass door. Now all I did was stick two glass panels behind the door, and it gives it the look of a sliding door. I did a trim again with the black conservation pieces to make it look like a metal black trim. And then just a little tip here, if you get the dot, which you can see me doing right now in the video, if you get that dot out of the letters and numbers tab, and you just place them on a glass door like this, you could group them all together like you can see me doing, and we're just gonna group them all and duplicate it and move it across as well. It gives you the impression that it's more of a realistic door, because this is the kind of things you would see on a glass door to stop people walking into them, kind of like a warning, by the way, there's a door here sign. Something what you would see. Try to keep it as realistic as possible. Right, moving on to actually creating the home and interior of this habitat for our reptiles, for our saltwater crocodiles. And I started off with some water. So obviously they've got to have a bit of water. It's actually one of the requirements. Saltwater crocodiles need water to swim in. So let's get that water in now. I'm going to try to alter this a little bit as well, because we don't want it looking really man-made. We want it looking a little bit more natural for our habitat. So we're just going to bring in the terrain like that, and then we're going to add the water. Now that's not kind of water you want in a habitat for reptiles. We're going to have it. I actually tried tropical and thought no, that don't work, and we just went with murky, and that's what I thought would work in the first place, and it did. And obviously I'm just going to show you what I've done at the rear now. You can see at the rear I've got the step system in, and this is basically how it's going to look at the back. Obviously we're going to cover all that area with plaster pieces, so don't worry about that, we will come to it. But now we need to design the interior of this habitat a little bit more. Closed off the back part, I'll show you everything and give you a full tour at the end of this video, so stay tuned. I added some rock work and then the all important foliage. Now it was time to add a little bit more foliage and rockworks, and if you know me, you know I love doing foliage and rockworks in this game, especially with the 4 rocks. Obviously the best rock in the game, isn't it? How you can lower them down and make them look like little stones and pebbles is absolutely incredible. For enrichment items, we're going to go with the mud bath, but what I'm going to do in the mud bath, we're going to kind of disguise it a little bit. We're going to put it in this part here. I just need to find the correct position to put it in, and then we're going to cover it up a little bit and kind of blend it in to make it naturally fit in to the rocks and foliage within the habitat, just like that. And that was I would suggest you do with a lot of the enrichment items for any animal, when obviously there's some you can't do, but try to blend in, make it a little more natural, because that's what you would happen in a zoo as well. And I discovered this fern bush, never actually seen it before, absolutely amazing. Definitely going to be using it more, especially in tropical builds and stuff like that. Then I'm just trying to get a little bit of grass, a little bit of bush, trying to dig trees in to see what works on it. That's what I always suggest you do as well. Just dig things into the ground to make it look like little bushes and little bits of foliage and see what works. Getting the all important enrichment items in there for our reptiles as well. Of course they're going to need that. We need to still make sure our animals are happy, even though we are going all out with the design of the habitat. Getting some logs, they don't need those logs, they can't even climb on the logs, but I thought a couple of logs will look good within the habitat. And again, that's the kind of thing you would see in real life inside of a habitat. And like I've just said, at the back, you see I've closed it off. I've also created him a little hard shelter at the back as well and put some bedding back there. But I will give you a full tour in just a second and explain everything I've done and everything I've changed and how that pathing system is looking at the back and how I covered it and stuff like that. So you will see that. Don't think I've skipped over it or anything like that. I just thought I'll save it as a more detailed tour at the end of the video, and then you can see how the saltwater crocodiles traverse over this habitat at the same time as well, and the guesting also. With all that being done now, that's the foliage for this habitat pretty much complete. Right, that is the reptile house complete, and I'm going to start the tour at the front of it. Our guests are having a look around it as we speak, and our reptiles, our crocodiles, are flourishing in there and loving it. Right, first thing you'll notice is that the sign reptile house is on, and there's got a little sign here which says entrance. This sign is on the Steam Workshop. It's done by someone called Reese's Fonts. Honestly, best place for fonts on the Steam Workshop. You can see how I've changed it. Don't mind this path. This is just, I wanted to see if everything was working, so I just brought the guest in just with a random path where it doesn't look the best. But yeah, on the left hand side you can see where I've changed the planter, and I've actually changed the structure of it here as well, and gone is that ugly kind of like foliage roof. It's not ugly, it just didn't suit this build. We've got benches and bins with a little bit of details like this mud, and there's grass, fallen leaves. As you look in the entrance, it is carpeted, and you will see a rock wall with a water feature coming down. I just thought it was a unique added touch. Here we've got the guest viewing from the inside viewing area down below with the one-way glass to gain a little bit of privacy for our reptiles. And at the top of that, you can see how the path leads to the balcony area for another amazing viewing point for guests. At the back end is where our habitat gate is, and I've just finished it off with another glass barrier and using the conservation pieces coloured to black to look like metal. And here they've got a little hard shelter. They can access that, the crocodiles, and it's going everything with the same theme and the same building design, same with the structure of this here. Also, we've got a unique viewing area here, and from the inside you can see once again our saltwater crocodiles. Did I need 3 different viewing areas for this habitat? Probably not. You can see one of our crocodiles just taking a refreshing little swim in that lovely body of water that we created for them. But there we go. I hope you enjoyed watching this and it's give you a little bit of inspiration to design something like this yourself. If it did, then hit that like button. If you're new around here, feel free to subscribe. My name's Adam, and I will catch you in the next Planet Zoo video.